as you can tell, my voice is kind of soft. Somewhere between, I guess, alto and tenor. No, not alto and soprano. Alto and tenor. Somewhere between them. And oftentimes people would hear me speak or on the phone sometimes they would hear me, and they would mistake me for a lady. Now, of course, I don't mind that. I understand. If you judge a book by the cover, I'm sure you're going to judge sometimes individual by their voices. So I expect that when they will see who's on the phone, they tend to use the voice as a cue to judge. And oftentimes they would say, yes, ma'am, when I ask a question or so forth, because they don't know who's speaking. They take my voice and they say, oh, it must be a female. But there was one experience in my life that really, I think, epitomized, I guess, the stereotype for judging a person by their voice. As some of you may know, I was a police officer. I joined the force in 1989 and resigned in 1994. And while on the force, officers would often say to me, Meadows, speak with bass in your voice.
Say it with your chest.
And I would say, listen, God gave me bass as an option. As an option. You may have bass as a default, but I have bass as an option. And sometimes they would say, Meadows, if you don't speak with bass in your voice, the criminal will not listen to you. And I would say, listen, if authority came from my voice, then I don't need to be here. Then you might be calling my wife, and I guess he could be the commissioner of police. Oftentimes, there was a sergeant who would often criticize me, or he'd often tease me and say, I lift somewhat, I guess a lot. But nevertheless, he would often tease me, he would say, Meadows, something, Meadows. And he'd often talk to me and make fun of the way I speak. And I remember one time, one of the constable said to me, he said, Meadows, I bet you let that criminal get away. I bet you when you told him to stop, he did not stop. Because he knew a man was chasing him, but he heard a woman say he didn't stop. And this was the treatment I got while I was on the force. But guess what? That did not cause me to leave the force, though. But this speech is not about why I left the force. This is about the voice and vocal variety. And my voice is often, I guess, I would even say people even deny me jobs because of my voice. I believe it. Okay? Because oftentimes, in same jobs, they want a person who probably just say, okay, speak with authority. I don't know if you can you really speak with authority?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Well, I guess that's debatable because I would think if you have the authority, you wouldn't need to speak with it, would you? It should be who I am. For example, if I'm your boss, I don't care how I tell you do something. When I speak as one or a man, because you respect me as your boss, you would do what I say, right?
Not necessarily.
Huh? Yes, so it doesn't matter. I think sometimes, like I said, we judge a book by its cover. So too, we want to judge people by their voice. But I've been often told by, I guess, some ladies anyway, that they prefer a voice, a softer voice, because they're tired of men screaming and shouting at them. So sometimes when they hear a softer voice, they don't feel too threatened by my voice. Not too threatened by my voice. Even at the time when I was an officer, I often said, listen, if the criminal does not hear, he will what? Feel. So it means now that I probably would have to speak even less to a criminal. If I say stop, he doesn't stop, and he thinks it's my voice, then I have to act. Well, I guess head first and speak later. I said stop. But in conclusion, I would like to say, do not judge. We do not judge books by, or we should not judge a book by its cover. So too, do not judge a person by their voice. Madam Chairman, thank you so much.
Oh my God, seriously?
The person should not have to speak with authority. If
Stay in an authoritative position should you not just listen.
Say it with your chest.
I like that. Very profound, Toastmaster Meadows. Our second prepared speaker is speaking on his second phase in the Competent Communicator Manual, which is organize your speech. Toastmaster Austin Roll, food for thought. Toastmaster Austin Roll, food for thought. He'll be speaking for a time of 5 to 7 minutes.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. How many of you love to cook?
Me.
A few of you are lying, but it's okay. Does anyone know the meaning of the word recipe?
The ingredients to make recipe are the ingredients to make a particular food, or the parts of the food.
Okay, but the
Or
recipe.
the process to make the food.
I think he meant
Okay,
origin.
but the meaning that I got from the internet says that a recipe is a set of instructions that describe how to prepare or make something, especially a culinary dish.
Yes.
There are 3 great chefs of my generation whom I look up to, and I felt, and I feel, I love, and I've made. There are 3 great chefs whom I love, and I felt have made. No. There are 3 great chefs whom I love, and I felt have made.
Great impact.
There are 3 great chefs whom I love, and I felt have made culinary recipes that I could say that I would see myself making at any time. Chef Anne Burrell, Chef Bobby Flay, and my personal favorite, Chef Rachel Ray. My speech will be based on a recipe from Chef Rachel Ray's best-selling book, 30-Minute Meals. My reason for going with the whole theme of recipes is because the second phase of the Competent Communicators Manual completely embodies food. My speech has to have a good opening, a great body, much like me, and an amazing preparing an excellent gourmet meal. You will need all of your ingredients for starters. If you want to make an exceptional drunken spaghetti with sweet roasted beets, a simple yet fulfilling meal, you will need ingredients. Such as beets with large leafy tops, greens trimmed, washed, and sliced, 1 inch thick, beets trimmed and left in skins, olive oil for drizzling, plus about 3 teaspoons, salt and pepper, 1 pound spaghetti, 1 bottle red Zinfandel, or Baloro wine, 4 shallots or 1 small red onion finely chopped, 1 teaspoon sugar, 2 teaspoons aged balsamic vinegar, half a cup of flat leaf parsley finely chopped, grated ricotta salada cheese. Much like a good speech, you would also need to figure out what you want to make and choose your ingredients. A pen or a pencil to start, a thought and idea of what you want your speech to be about, and a book, or a laptop like the rest of us with money and common sense would use. Once you have those, this is where the fun begins and you can start cooking. Preparation. Much like me, I didn't wake up looking this handsome. It took preparation. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Rub the beets with oil and season with salt and pepper. Place the beets in a baking dish and cover with foil and roast until tender. Let cool to handle. Rub the skins off of the beets and chop into small bite-sized pieces. Bring large pot of water to boil for the pasta. Salt the water and add the spaghetti. Boil for about 5 minutes and drain. Return the pot to the stove, add the wine and reduce over high heat for 2 to 3 minutes. Once boiling, dump the pasta back into the pot and cook over medium-high heat until most of the liquid evaporates. Tossing frequently with tongs, add the beets, greens, and pasta until the pasta is just al dente. Meanwhile, in a skillet, heat 3 turns of the pan of olive oil, medium-high heat. Add the shallots or onion, garlic, salt, and pepper. Cook the tender for 7 to 10 minutes. Sprinkle with sugar. Add the vinegar and some of the wine sauce to deglaze. Scrape the veggies into the pot to combine with the pasta. The tedious and time-consuming part of cooking is keeping an eye on your meal. Much like your speech, because you don't want it to overcook or burn. As we all know, food or a great speech doesn't just fall from the sky, much like the movie Cardi with a chance of meatballs. If it did, there would be no need for Red Lobster. A good meal is prepared with love and knowing what you want to make. Like your speech, you have to be passionate about what you are writing about, believe in yourself, and know what you want to say. At this time, now the pasta is boiling in hot water and the veggies is already browning in the skillet, and the sauce is ready to be simmered and reduced. Now comes the amazing part of figuring out what extra information or ingredients you want to add to your speech or food. Whether it's a side order or a garnish of thyme or rosemary, you can add what you like to your speech. And make sure to review your speech for any grammatical errors or wrong placement of abbreviations or punctuations. A few fancy words or some props can be added as well to bring your speech to life. If your speech is your speech, much like your meal, so make it good, not good, make it great. As we come down to the end of the cooking process, we come to an amazing presentation. This is where we plate our meal. But don't plate it sloppily. Anyone who knows and who loves to cook knows that the average human being eats with their eyes first.
Yes.
If something looks good to us, we want to try it.
Yeah.
This is how we determine if food tastes good or if it ends up tossed in the garbage. You present your food by placing a bed of al dente pasta, meaning your pasta should have a slight crunch to it, not overcooked and soft. Then blanket your pasta in your vibrant red Zinfandel vegetable sauce. Everything should remain in the middle of your plate, adding your side order of choice. Toss with the beets and parsley and serve. Garnish with ricotta salata. To complete your presentation, have a dry cloth available to wipe any excess mess or spilled sauce from around the borders of your plate. And just like that, your meal is done.
Wow.
With your speech, type your speech in the finest font in your favorite colors. Review for errors and pull out your breast printing paper. And there you have it, in a brief description, how to write a speech from my perspective.
Wow.
I will end with a quote, not from someone famous, and not one that I looked up on the internet like everyone else does. You know who you are. But by someone with great potential and great steps to becoming a great person.
Wow.
That person is me. And it says, that person is me, and it says, never judge a meal by the presentation, always by the preparation. Following in the footsteps of my good President Toastmaster Tiffany Johnson, who gave me breakfast at Tiffany's at the fall conference. At the fall conference, you have been served dinner at Austin's.
Wow. Just now, Toastmaster Austin Rose not only told us how to prepare a meal, but how to prepare a speech.
Yes.
Very well written, Toastmaster. Our last prepared speaker is one of my favorite speakers because he always comes with something very funny, very entertaining, and very original. He is one of our newest Toastmasters, the Club 3596, Toastmaster Vincent Raming. He's speaking from the Advanced Competent Communicator Manual, Phase 2.
You want that one over?
Yeah.
The title is the Entertaining Speaker Phase 2. The title is White People.
White people.
White People, Toastmaster Vincent Raming.
White people.
Toastmaster Balfour, we are not obligated to what he said.
We're not racist in English.
We're not racist, you know.
So, fellow Toastmasters, yes. Is it just me or? It's just you. Thank you. White people, the most interesting characters in the world.
Sometimes.
Seriously.
I love that.
White people do the most incredibly insane things in the name of adventure.
I love it.
Why don't you jump in? skydiving,
I want to skydive.
crocodile hunting. If it's something life-threatening, then chances are that a white person, and probably Toastmaster Antonio Humes, have done it. How many times have you heard some wild story about someone, somewhere, doing something that under normal circumstances would be considered extremely stupid, only to have that whole thing validated by the ending line, oh yeah, it was a white person. For example, the other day I was listening to the radio to a show, and two white guys came up with a brilliant idea, something that they would do just for kicks. They went to a country in Africa on a safari, dressed up as a lion in a costume, and decided to go and confront a real lion. Now, I don't have to tell you what happened to these two geniuses, but let's just say Simba never had an easier meal. Even Timon and Pumbaa got to share some of the scraps. White people do all sorts of crazy things in their lifetime. If you ever read a story on the internet about someone being bitten by a shark or a snake, or being attacked by a bear, or even stung to death by some Africanized killer bees, chances are it's a white person. I'm just saying. They would be out on the beach, surfing, or snorkeling, or scuba diving. Pretty much any white beach-related activity that starts with the letter S. And out of the blue, a scream. Another white person got bitten by a shark. Have you ever seen or read anything on the internet or TV about a black person getting bitten by a shark? No, because we know better.
This is so racist.
It's not because we can't swim or we don't like the water.
It's not racist. It's observant.
Thank you. It's not that we can't swim or we don't like the water. It's because we know that sharks live in the water. It is their turf. You never see a shark walking around on the line as if his album just went platinum. If white people were dumb enough to go in the water and get bitten, well, they got what they were looking for. Now, one of the things that has always intrigued me is how white people come up with their nicknames. I was always told that Native Indians give their nicknames based on the first thing that they see. So it's natural for a little Native Indian child to have a nickname like Little Running Dare, or Rising Sun in the East, or Pitter Patter Raindrop. I was also reliably informed that Chinese either drop or hit a pan. And whatever sound that comes from it, whatever sound that comes from it is used in the name. If this is true, then that would definitely explain why there's so many millions of Chinese people with the name Ping Pong Pie. This is totally, this is totally justifiable. There are 2 billion Chinese people in the world. Wow. And a lot of them have the same name because the pan, that's true. There are 2 billion people that live in China. Thank you for that correction. And there's only so many different sounds that one pan can make. Lately, they've been resorting to more Western names. For example, we have a Chinese national that works with us, and his name is Tom. And for short, we call him Tom. And white people took a whole different approach to nicknaming their people. I tried to do some empirical research on
Skeeter.
I tried to do some empirical research on Wikipedia into the nicknaming methods of white people, and I must admit that it left me more confused than when I first started. For example, William would have a nickname, Bill.
Yes.
Now, I don't see a clear connection between the two, but I'll let it slide because at least it rhymes. In that same vein, someone with a nickname John would be called Jack. Again, absolutely no logic. They simply took one 4-letter name, John, and replaced it with another 4-letter name, Jack. Now, if my mother wanted me to be called Jack, she would have probably given me the name Jack, and vice versa. But one connection I kind of took away from this whole thing was that at least they both started with the letter J. Now, the icing on the cake for me was when I discovered what someone with the name Richard is normally called.
Dick.
And that's Dick. How do you get Dick out of Richard? You're Dick. How do you get Dick
I'll break that one.
out of Richard? What type of grown man allows someone to call him Dick in the first place? Why not Rich,
Oh, Rick.
Richie,
Oh,
but Dick?
They come from Rick.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they came from Rick.
For what it's worth, white people don't seem to handle some of life's challenges very well. For example, there was an employee of the United States Postal Service who could not handle some of the pressures of his job. Now, his normal daily activity included picking up and dropping off parcels. So you would beg the question, what's so stressful about a job like that? Nonetheless, the man could not handle some of the pressures of his job. So one day he went to work and shot 14 of his co-workers, his manager, a police officer, and some random stranger before killing himself
Hence the term
and giving birth to the term going postal. Now, if this was a black person doing the shooting, chances are that he was probably just going after the person that he had pissed him off earlier that day. Because bullets were expensive and killing all those people.
The DC sniper just proved that.
Killing all these people, well, nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
White people account for most of the world's famous serial killers. Jeffrey Dahmer, the BTK killer, the Boston Strangler, Ted Bundy, to name a few. The DC snipers were an anomaly. Not only were they black, but one of them was a real Jamaican, which is what I can say about Miss Cleo. And so, ladies and gentlemen, but particularly ladies, in conclusion, I will leave you with one nugget or two of information that you may be wondering about. While it is true that drinking until you pass out or jumping off a cliff that is 1,000 feet high with a rope that is 980 feet long, they call it bungee jumping, might seem like a life risk. It is serious fun to white people, and they know how to have it. For all the risks that they take, all the mountains that they climb, and all the noise that you hear outside, you just had to go and check out, because they do that. Ladies, white men cannot jump. This is not a basketball reference. Thank you.
Oh my God.
I
know, right?
Also take her down.
She'll get in the hot tub 100 days. Live the life you love. Love the life you live. I was partially insulted